Today News Update.
It's Wednesday, August 17, and time for your Barbados Today Evening News Update. The Democratic Labour Party says there's been a spike in new members. The party's first Vice President Steve Blackett told a news conference today close to 300 members joined the party in the last 7 to 8 months and some 200 in the last 3 months alone. He noted that increased membership coincided with the election of new President Dr. Ronnie Yearwood back in May.
They have been coming of their own volition because the party has not really launched any direct or singular program or anything to attract members to the party. And these people have been coming on their own volition, like I said. I don't know if I believe, though, because it coincided with the election of our new president. Maybe that is one of the features of the attractions of the party, but certainly we've been seeing larger numbers coming on their own and also inquiring of membership to the party. The only common feature that I can see in that period would be the election of our new president.
The DLP will hold its 67th annual conference this Friday and Saturday. There will be elections for a general secretary and a 4th vice president. Irene Sandifer Garner, who is a member of the planning committee, says the party is heading into the conference as a united body.
Everything now is coalescing. We've had the leadership races where you would have had the competition and the sort of activity you would have almost in a general election for a leadership. We won't have that this year. So yes, we will have a quieter election period this year. And yes, you're correct. We are coalescing. Things are coming together very quietly but deliberately. If you look, you will see the work in progress outside on the building itself. Everything now is working in consonance. So you see a physical restructuring, and you're also seeing an administrative and leadership restructuring of the institution. And that internal restructuring was necessary. Everybody knows that. But nothing happens before its time. This is the time now where we are all coming together and attempting to rebuild without any other distractions.
The Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs is on course to rolling out its social program to assist 1,000 vulnerable families. Minister Kurt Humphrey provided an update on the initiative today as he received a donation for his 11+ transition project.
In the next few weeks, you're going to see a public call to persons to come forward and identify persons who live in their communities that they believe are also vulnerable. We imagine that will helpfully throw out some new names, although we expect a lot of those persons would already be in our database. We're also going to be reaching out to a lot of the NGOs to give us further names so that we have a very large base from which to choose. Then a choice has to be made. The way we're going to do it, we have 2 forms. One is called the eligibility score sheet, where you are evaluated scientifically based on the state of your conditions, really, the housing, is anybody working, the level of education in the household, the health in the household, and so on. And then the other form is what we call a universal intake form, which basically looks at, it's a less condensed form that allows us to make a much more rapid determination.
In other news, a plan by Suriname and Barbados to strengthen ties in agriculture could see animal feed prices falling. Agriculture Minister Indar Weir made the disclosure today following a meeting with his Surinamese counterpart and his contingent at Pelican Village. Weir said the countries are in the process of renewing the Brokopondo program for cooperation, which will see Barbados growing some of the inputs now being imported for making feed.
To look at other sources or markets for us to access the inputs for the production of feed so that we can see how we can bring the prices down. Although I must tell you that what I've observed is that the prices are trended downwards already. But we should never ever find ourselves in the position that we were caught in when we had first of all, the Russia-Ukraine conflict, and then the issues with logistics in terms of supply chain, etc. And therefore, coming out of what we can do with Suriname, we are putting ourselves in a position where we can source the grains for feed and help to reduce the cost of producing feed and the retail price of feed to farmers.
Barbados has failed to capitalize on lucrative advantages of heritage tourism, and if Professor Sir Henry Fraser has his way, there will be more investment to develop this aspect of the island's tourism product. He chided the country for not valuing a number of historic structures.
The South Point Lighthouse, we ought to be ashamed. It is the most obvious no-brainer for heritage development. Every tourist in Christchurch at all those South Coast hotels, and Patricia will confirm this, I'm sure, they all see that lighthouse and they all go there. And we're doing nothing. We're ignoring the plans that we at the National Trust have put forward to government. I mean, it upsets me a little bit. The architecture of historic Bridgetown and its garrison. There are almost as many derelict buildings now at the garrison as there are in good shape. They're mostly the smaller ones, admittedly. But government will do nothing about its promise to do something when we were nominated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site 11 years ago. We will lose that inscription, but it won't matter because we've never utilized it. The data suggests that sites, cities, or countries which are given UNESCO World Heritage status have between a 30 and a 40% increase in tourism visitation. And again, we've been preaching that, but it has not registered.
Regional and international news coming up after this short break.
Pure oxygen is way more than just water. We infuse pristine water with over 1 billion tiny oxygen bubbles using our state-of-the-art process. The benefits of additional oxygen are huge, from strengthening your immune system to increasing energy levels, stamina, and sports performance. And that's not all. It also improves skin health, helps you sleep better, and reduces stress. Join the movement of people experiencing the benefits of pure oxygen. It's not hype, it's science.
To regional news, the Vice President of the Bahamian Petroleum Dealers Association is commending Prime Minister Mia Mottley for putting a cap on gas and diesel. Vasco Bastian says it's a move the Bahamian government would have to explore.
Petroleum Dealers Association Vice President Vasco Bastian, while commending Mottley for the move, says a decision on this here at home lies in the hands of the Davis administration.
She is saying that she capped the government intake, and in capping the government intake, that would significantly impact the cost to the motorists. You know, now here in the Bahamas, if we propose something that was to happen, the government, I guess, the next question the government is how are we going to make it for that shortfall? But it's an excellent idea. It's something that definitely that the government and the Minister of Finance alluded to, I think, last week or week before last, but he will have to expand on that further, Mr. Ketis, or see where we draw the line with that, or where they draw the line in the sand with that.
On the international scene, more than 3,000 families have been affected by heavy rains and torrential floods in Sudan. We get more in this report from Al Jazeera Television.
Furniture here, some items there. Al-Hadi Ali is trying to collect what he can from his home. It was damaged and left submerged by heavy rains and torrential floods in Al-Managil in Sudan's Jazeera state.
We now don't have any food or water. The floods came in the middle of the night while I was working on a night shift to be able to provide food for my family.
Similar damage and destruction can be seen in houses around the village. More than 700 homes were destroyed in over 50 villages in Al-Managil. The district has been declared a disaster zone. Ibrahim Yusuf's family was one of more than 3,000 affected by the floods in the region.
The water came in, tore down the front walls. They then entered the rooms and we moved away as they started collapsing around us. All these houses have collapsed.
Al-Managil is now largely submerged. Homes are not the only places affected. Farmlands have also been devastated by floods. threatening the harvest season around November. Already, nearly a third of Sudan's 43 million people are short of food, and prices have increased in the past months. Government officials say the scale of damage in El Managil is unprecedented.
We were expecting the damage to be less, so we were surprised by the amount of destruction. The flood season usually causes damage, but what we have seen this year is beyond the state's ability to respond.
That's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.ee. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, or like us on Facebook, and sign up for our breaking news alerts via WhatsApp. We're also on Izumi Medium bus terminals, as well as screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also hear us on Capital Media HD 99.3 FM.